Firestone, and this is Up Close Classic. At the age of 15, he became an instant legend when a sports writer saw him score 36 points, grab 16 rebounds, and dish out 16 assists in a high school basketball game. That sports writer dubbed the young phenom Magic, and the nickname stuck. Earvin Magic Johnson certainly was. He won 3 MVP awards while leading the Los Angeles Lakers to 5 NBA championships during his 13-year professional career. Yet for all of his accomplishments on the court, Johnson may be equally well known for his startling announcement in 1991 that he was HIV positive. While Johnson was counted out in many circles, he resolved then to keep fighting and living his life to the fullest.
I said, I'm not going nowhere. Matter of fact, life is only going to get better. And that's what happened. Cookie and I prayed on it, and here I am 8 years later, and still ticking, no virus activity in my body. I'm healthier probably now than I was 8 years ago, because I eat better, I take care of myself even better, and so knock on wood.
I went to a Chris Rock show the other night in Miami. He has a whole bit about you. He says, if I'm going to get HIV, I want that Magic Johnson HIV, where you look better than you ever did, and the money's rolling in. He says, where do I get some of that HIV? I mean, not to trivialize, it's still a big issue in this country, and let's not trivialize it, but the fact is, you are thriving, and that has got to be an incredible inspiration for the nearly 1 million people who are HIV positive in this country.
No question about it. And what people have to understand is HIV acts different in everybody, and we're never going to minimize HIV or think that we've come a long way since I announced. No question about that.
Mortality rate's down almost 50%.
Yeah, and more people are educated now, and so we still have a long way to go. We still have a lot to go in terms of minorities are concerned, because we still make up over 55% of all the cases. But we're making strides, and we're going to continue, my foundation and myself, to educate people, to tell them about HIV and AIDS, and we got to stop the discrimination and things like that. But again, we've come a long way, and I think I've helped that, and I'm proud of that too as well. So, you know, people, it's funny how things have changed, because when I first announced, you can hear the whispers, or I would come into a room and then they would stop talking, and you knew they were talking about me. And that
make you sad? How did it make you feel?
No, it didn't make me sad. I think it made me sad to know that people was afraid to talk directly to me. I think that made me sad. You can say what you want to say. And then, the funny thing is, when I first announced, I'm talking about the first weeks and months, they didn't know what to do with me. They didn't know whether to hug me, high five, whether they could kiss me, the whole nine. And I told people, just treat me the same way you've been treating me. But they wasn't educated about it. So 5 months later, then everybody got back to high five and kissing. Okay, now we understand we can do all that still with them. The basketball situation, Karl Malone, all those people, who said, "Oh man,
What if he sweats on me?" I remember that one.
Right.
What if he bleeds on me or sweats on me? I'm going to get HIV.
Right. So I had to go through all that. But you know what? 8 years later now, we've educated all those people.
Why aren't you saying, "I told you so"? All the people who counted me. Why don't you do that?
No, that's not me. That's not me. First of all, because the proof is there. Here I am. My T cells. Like I said, no virus in my blood system. So I don't have to, gloat. I think that God has made me a symbol for people with HIV and all diseases, to say, look, see, you have to have a positive attitude like Magic.
Do you think what you have done, your effort, and living the life you've had, in one sense, has made AIDS blink?
That might be a good word for it. It's made it blink and made eyes maybe become more open. See, we don't have to whisper about it anymore. Now we got commercial, billboards. People can talk about it at dinner now. I'm at the high school the other day, and Roy, they had some questions. I mean, and so it's not a backroom conversation anymore. It's for real, and people are talking about it.
There was no more poignant and uplifting moment in Johnson's advocacy than this one. During the filming of an AIDS special with children, he reached out to a little girl who was HIV positive.
I want people to know that we're just normal people.
Oh, you don't have to cry. You don't have to cry. Because we are normal people, okay? We are. And Roy, I think that that's the type of situation that I'm happy I came out. After the camera went off, went to a commercial or whatever, we were still embracing, and everybody was crying on the set. It was just, and it was the first time that I let go of my own emotion. Before, you was holding strong, you was doing, but here's a little beautiful, she's probably, what, 9 or 10. And it was a special day. And I think it made me now say, you know, I gotta make this a big part of my life, to go out and talk about HIV and AIDS.
Is it a burden on any level? As much as you're glad to do what you do, you're proud of what you represent, the good that you brought, is it a burden?
Of course it is. It's tough to wear a lot of different hats. It's tough because as much as I do, people say I should be doing more. I can't win.
Still to come on Up Close Classic, Magic redefines his life after basketball. Welcome back. Since he retired from the NBA, Magic Johnson's been an Olympic gold medalist, a member of a presidential commission, a part owner of the Lakers, the coach of the Lakers, and the host of a failed TV show. But his most successful role by far is that of businessman. Johnson's built shopping centers, restaurants, and movie theaters in urban neighborhoods across the country. I talked with him about that at his Magic Johnson Theater complex not far from the site of the LA riots.
This place was burned to the ground, and just like the Magic Johnson story, they said, nah, forget it. Business is dead, it's over, it's finished. People will never take their business back here again.
That's right.
And now look at it too. It's very much a parallel, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. My life has been like that. You know, it's amazing that I sit here and like everything is a parallel, you know, and I think that, again, he took me from basketball and said, you know what, I got a bigger plan for you. I want you to go rebuild the inner cities, put some pride into the community, show kids that if Magic can do it, so can you. But you have to do it through education. We had to educate our young people. I had to give them hope. I had to give them jobs. And we've done that through just doing it the right way, in a classy way, but also through a way of saying, see, in the inner cities, you can't just talk the talk. You got to walk the walk. And we need examples in the inner cities. I could go in and say, get your education. You know, if you do that, you can be somebody in life. Well, they say, okay, we heard that speech. But now when I go in schools and I got these theaters and these Starbucks and TGI Fridays and so on and on, okay, we get it now, because we see it. See, so now my message is easier. Now I can get to them now, because also they see I'm real. I come in the community, I touch them. I don't try to carry myself above them.
Right.
You know, I was once them, and I tell them that. I said, look, I come from a family of 10. We were poorer than poor. You know, what we had was love. If I was out on that basketball court too long, I missed dinner, because all my other brothers and sisters would eat it all up. You know, I've been there. I've been through the situation of people saying, oh, you can't make it, you're gonna never make it, you know. So I've been there. I've been through the tough times, just like all the kids that I talk to now. But also, I stuck with my dream, and here I am today. What I need is to continue to build the minority community up, inner cities, to show those kids that, you know, again, through education, they can be anything they want in life. And also bring quality services that we don't have in our community.
I think that's more important to you than the rings. I really do.
We were in Atlanta. We hadn't opened the Fridays yet. A woman stopped her car. We were out front. She said, "Young man, I've lived in this community for 40 years. For 40 years, I've never had a chance to have a salad. I had to go 30, 40 minutes just to get a salad. Well, now she can go 5 minutes to get a salad in her own community." And she hugged me and thanked me and said, "You know what? God's gonna keep you." And that meant more to me than driving down the middle, passing, or anything, because now I've affected somebody's life. It's gonna always be great basketball players, you know. Shoot, Larry and I was great. We thought, oh, we're gonna be, here come Michael. It's gonna be somebody after Michael. It's gonna be somebody, you know. But what we're doing, nobody's doing that. It's just like now, you know, you sometimes you don't understand that.
It's a dream you believed in since you were a little kid. See, people don't remember that too, that part of the story.
Because you have to go back to be happy now. You have to reflect back. You have to know what this is all about, you know. And I worked hard to get to this point, you know, very hard. And I've sacrificed. I had to take a lot, but the joy of this whole thing, and I'm crying for joy. I'm not crying for anything, but because I had this dream for so many years, and now I'm living. It's reality.
When we come back, Magic tells us about his dream job. Welcome back. When Magic Johnson entered the NBA in 1979, it was a league in desperate need of a revival. Along with Larry Bird and later Michael Jordan, Magic helped elevate the NBA to the global stage. He still has some ideas for improving the league, and he wants to play a major part in that effort.
If I don't own a team, Roy, what I'd really like to do is have David Stern's job.
Run the league.
That's right.
And you're not kidding, are you?
No, I'm not kidding. You know I can do it.
What would you like to do if you had the wand today? If you could change anything about the league?
Help the young players understand they have to market the league and do better job at that. Why was the league successful in the 80s? Because the guys in the 80s got out and marketed the league and not asking for money to do it, just went out and did it. They had ambassadors. Dr. J passed it to me, I passed it to Michael, and now we're sitting there waiting on somebody to take the torch. It shouldn't be a waiting process. Somebody should take it and run with it. The 90s player is about getting paid first instead of working for that pay. I'm hoping everybody understands what I'm trying to say.
Nothing wrong with getting paid, by the way.
No.
But getting paid
wrong.
first is what you're saying.
Exactly. It's not to them what you do on the court. Once you get the money, then that's it. They feel they don't have to practice. They feel they don't have to play that hard in the games in terms of, or they can play when they want to. That's what maybe I should say. And it was hard for me to accept that because I loved the game so much and I loved to practice. And I knew if you worked hard in practice, it would translate on the court as far as the games.
There was an incident apparently where a player had a beeper go off. I won't identify the player, but you took that beeper and you threw it against the walls. Get this stuff out of here. I mean, that was Magic, the player, responding as Magic, the coach, not being able to relate to this stuff.
Exactly. But, you know, look, it's simple to me. You got 2 hours you come to practice. You can leave the beeper, the cellular phone in the car. You come work hard for 2 hours, you put it back on, and you can go on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to me, if you're there for practice, you got to dedicate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, give 2 hours to that coach. You know, give 2 hours to the organization.
Can you reflect for a few moments, talk about what it was that made the Lakers so special?
It's like undescribable. I mean, how we were so close and we were so confident. A little cocky, but not cocky. Maybe overconfident, but not too confident. You know, you just, all those things in one. We knew when we hit the floor, we were the best team, and we were out to prove that. But I think the best thing that we had that we can say that we were just winners. We did whatever it took to win. And when we stepped into that locker room, all those 12 egos was left outside. And we didn't care about money, we didn't care about nothing else but just winning and doing your job. You know, Kareem just led us, and he led by example. He didn't say a lot, but when he said something, it was like E.F. Hutton, everybody listened. You know, it's just Norman, Jamal, Jones, Landsberger, Holland, everybody just did their job. Coop. It's just amazing. We played basketball, but we played it on instinct. You know, we went out and played.
Magic goes to the movies when Up Close Classic continues. Welcome back to Up Close Classic. I'm Roy Firestone. With the Lakers of the 1980s, Magic Johnson was the producer and director of Showtime. But the Irvin Johnson story actually begins in the 1960s in Lansing, Michigan.
I want to look back at your movie, your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's look up at the screen.
You got it.
There's that little guy with the big dreams. What do you remember?
I see that little kid just dribbling down by himself, playing shirts and skins, pretending like he was two teams. I was Wilt Chamberlain in Philadelphia going one way, and I was Dave Bean and the Detroit Pistons going the other way. And I would always go back and forth. And I used to say, okay, Wally Walker comes down and he's dribbling. He's looking, he passed to Hal Greer. Hal Greer fakes. He throws it inside to the Big Dipper, and the Big Dipper goes inside and shoots the ugly finger roll, and it's good. And the Philadelphia 76ers are up 1 point with only 5 seconds to go. Timeout. Detroit Pistons. They go into the huddle, and we all know who's going to get this shot. And they throw the ball in, and here comes Dave Bean off a screen. He's up with a pretty jump shot. You know Dave Bean had a pretty jump shot.
Oh, very lovely.
Good! And the Detroit Pistons upset the 76ers. Oh, it's unbelievable.
And this is all by yourself?
All by myself.
Was it Everett High School?
Yes,
Everett High School.
That's where I went to high school.
Look at that big old fro you
Ooh, I mean, I'm talking about real big and skinny legs. But here I used to get the rebound, come down, and your fro be blowing like Dr. J's flow. It be blowing in the air, you know. Here's this skinny kid coming down, making moves, laying it up, and then Roy, I could dunk then. Mm-hmm. So I used to dunk on people. Oh, it was great.
Scan forward, it's 1979, Larry and Magic.
I was scared to death. Here's this blonde-haired guy with a lot of hair, and Indiana State, and he was Mr. Basketball, College Player of the Year, and they had won 33 in a row, I think.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And the stage is set. They had just beat DePaul, and here we are. We just beat Penn, and the stage is set because everybody wanted to see Bird versus Magic. All of a sudden, here come Larry Bird, got that crowd going, and they chipped that lead all the way down to 5 points. Had a chance to cut it to 3, and they missed a wide open shot. And then we got down, and I dunked on the guy, and that's what won the game. I had a 3, actually it was a 4-point play because they called him for undercutting me. Mm-hmm. And we went up, 9 points, and that was the end of it. But you talking about a form, and you're talking about pressure, and you're talking about just happy. But I was happy to beat Larry Bird, but I was also disappointed that the game had to stop because I had never been in such a great game with such a great player. And that started our friendship off, that game, actually. And I saw him, after we had won, I saw him sitting on the bench with the towel over his head, just crying, you know, and I was like, wow, that could have been me, you know.
Opening night for the Lakers.
Ooh.
Get the ball into the big fella. Sky hook against the Clippers.
Down one. Down one. I was so scared. We ran a play up. We brought a guy off of Kareem, but we threw it right into Kareem. I think it was only 2 or 3 seconds left. He takes one dribble, turns around, shoots a sky hook at the free throw line. All net. I go, jump in his arms. I'm hugging, bear hugging him too, real tight, you know, and I'm just riding him, right? So he gets me off of him. We go into the locker room, and I'm looking at it right now. It's amazing. And he said, Buck, come here, because they used to call me Buck back then. He said, look, we got 81 more games to play. Don't do that no more. And I says to him, Roy, I says, if you shoot a shot that great 81 more times, I'm going to be jumping in your arms 81 more times.
I love it. I love it. The sixth game of the 1980 championships, Kareem is out. Bum ankle. He's in Los Angeles. You're jumping center. Brent Musburger's laughing at you jumping center, and you took over the game.
Philadelphia's laughing. Brent is laughing. Everybody, probably the country is laughing. Here, this guy is jumping against Daryl Dawkins, and everybody thought we were going to lose this game because Kareem is out. But we just ran them and played our game, and I finally got a chance to show them my skills because remember I said you always sometimes have to tailor your game back? Well, that game I got to show everything that I could do offensively, and we won that game. But the funny thing is, Roy, Rick Barry came into the locker room just like it was yesterday, and he says, I've never been in such a quiet championship. You just won the championship. You guys act like you lost. Hey, Kareem is not here. And that's why we're not celebrating until we get back to LA.
The junior sky hook against the Celtics.
The greatest shot I've ever shot. The year before I had lost, I had dribbled the clock out, and I put that in my memory bank to make sure that I didn't let that happen. The play was supposed to go into Kareem, and what happened was they wasn't a good angle, so I said, okay, they switched out on me and had Kevin McHale on me, and I said, he doesn't have foot speed, so I'm going to go around him. So when I got around him, though, Robert Parrish jumped, and Larry Bird jumped, and I had to shoot the old sky hook. Look at it, it's pretty too, look.
It's a hell of a movie, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It really is. It's only God can create a movie like that. You know, I'm sitting here, and I don't want the movie to go off. Don't go off.